Welcome to the TPC Desktop video series. This video will introduce you to the report view in working with reports inside of Traverse PC Desktop. We're going to start today with a survey created by one of our Traverse PC users in New York State. The name of this survey is 2550-06. I'm going to click on the Report View button up at the top, and I want you to notice that Traverse PC opens a report view and names it 2550-06.doc. So this report view has a doc file associated with it. This is now what we call the current report. I can have any number of reports that I'm using inside this survey, each with its own doc or word processing file associated with it. I'm going to be putting in some preliminary information to begin with, so I'm going to type in preliminary report. Let's go ahead and tell Traverse PC now that we want to save this as a document called preliminary doc. Traverse PC opens the Save Report As dialog box, and I'm just going to type preliminary. Notice that Traverse PC has already created the default document, and once I'm done with the preliminary report, I can come back and open this document and continue to work in it. But I want to put my information in the preliminary document for now, so let's choose the Save button. Notice that Traverse PC has changed the name of the doc in the title, so we now see Report View preliminary.doc. So let's talk about how we put information into a report. The first method is just by typing the data into the report. I did that when I named the report preliminary report, and I did it just now when I typed that next line in. So the report is a word processor, and I can insert and copy and paste and type the same things I would do in any word processor. The second method is by using what we call the summary button. And let me show you an example of this. Let's come over to the drawing, and I'm going to double click one of the major contour lines here. And Traverse PC displays information about that surface. Notice the summary button down here in the bottom right hand corner. Watch what happens to the report when I press that button with the left mouse button. Do you see how Traverse PC has now added information about the surface to our current report? Let's come over here to the Slope tab and tell Traverse PC we want to compute the slope areas based on the ranges that we've specified here. And again, here's that summary button. Let's go ahead and press that. And Traverse PC has now added information about the slope analysis to our report. Let's OK this dialog box for the slope and come back and look at our report now. Notice that each time I hit the summary button, I start out with the name of that information in double brackets. And sometimes I have single brackets underneath it to delineate various parts of that information. So here I have surface, and here's the surface information. If I come down a little farther, I have my section for the slope analysis. As I press the summary button, Traverse PC just continues to add information to the bottom of the report. Let's take a look at using the summary button in the Kogo tools. Let's come back to our drawing, and let's zoom in on one of these lots down here. And we want to identify the offsets of the southerlymost point in lot 17 and the northerlymost point in lot 17 to this township line here. So let's do that with the Kogo tools. I'm going to right click this point, symbol or label, it can be either one, and choose Kogo, Offset to Line. Let's tell Traverse PC that we want to use this dashed line, which is the division line we're interested in. And I don't have to pick a computed point right now, but you can see I have quite a bit of information in here already. So I've got an offset, I've got a bearing. It tells me that based on this bearing, the point I'm working with is left of the line. I have a distance from the start of line, and here's that summary button. So let's go ahead and click the summary button. Again, Traverse PC adds that information to the report. Now let's go up and pick this point, which is the most northerly point in the lot. So Traverse PC updates the information in the dialog based on the point I selected, and I'm going to click on the summary button. Let's close this dialog box now and come back, and we can see in the report that here's my offset to line from point 18C to the line that I picked in the drawing, which has this bearing. Now, I don't really need the distance information here, so I'm just going to delete that. Then I went and picked the north line of the lot, and again, I don't need the distance information here, so I'm simply going to delete it. Remember, it's a word processor, so I can modify the information that it's created for me in the report. Now let's look at a third method. We're actually going to print or append to the report. I'll give you an example of this. Let's come back to the right-hand side and open our Traverse Manager. Do you see how we've turned on columns for acres, square feet, linear error, and relative error? I'm going to go to the Tools menu, come down to the Print section, and I'm going to tell Traverse PC I want to append these traverses to the report view. Watch what happens when I left-click. Do you see that Traverse PC has taken the information right out of the Traverse Manager and added it to the report view for us? I'm really just interested in some information on the lots, so I'm going to get rid of some of the lines I don't want. Here are some easement lines. And I'll get rid of the rest of these traverses here at the end. So now I have information in kind of a tabular format for each lot, giving me the area, the linear error, and the relative error. Now some of you are saying, boy, I didn't know Traverse PC could do that. So let's go back to that Traverse Manager again, and let's tell Traverse PC that this time we want to print to a printer. So you can see how we can get that information out of Traverse PC. Let's tell it we want to print. I'm going to send this to Traverse PC's PDF driver because I want us to be able to view this information on screen here during the video. So Traverse PC has said, I'm ready to save that for you. It's going to call it Traverse's PDF. Let's hit the Save button, and we'll wait for this computer to open the PDF viewer, where Traverse PC gives me the name, acres, square feet, linear error. And then if I scroll on down, I can see I have a second page of information so it can fit in the rest of the lots. So I can print directly to a printer or a PDF file, or in this particular case, I wanted to send this information to a report. Let's do that same thing now as far as printing data with some other views. Let's come back to our Traverse Manager, and I'm going to open Lot 1. Traverse PC displays the Traverse view for us. Let's also open the Closure view. Now watch what happens when I tell Traverse PC from the tools that I want to print and append to the report view. Traverse PC now has added the same information I just saw in the Closure view to my current report. Let's come up to our Traverse view where we have the Traverse information itself. Let's choose Tools, Print, and again, let's append to report view. So now I also have the Traverse information in my report view. Pretty much any view that has data in it can be appended to the current report. One of the great things about this is that I have my tables all laid out, my information all laid out just like it was in the view. So as I learn the program and I'm familiar with how the view displays the information, I'm going to see that same information displayed the same way in the reports as well. Let's go ahead and close out these views that we opened up. And let's talk about a fourth way to bring information into a report, and that is from another report. Let's go back to our Traverse Manager, and I'm going to pick the first 5 lots, lots 1 through 5, and I'm going to tell Traverse PC from the Tools menu that I want to create a Traverse report. So let's go ahead and left-click this command. In the Traverse report, I first tell Traverse PC which traverses I want to report on, and I want to do the 5 selected traverses, and then I tell it which information I want to include. In this case, I want the traverse data. I want the traverse summary out of the Closure view, the error summary out of the Closure view, and a legal description. Now, the settings I use for these legal descriptions are right here in the Settings button, so I can choose what information I want to include. And let's just hit the OK button. Notice I've got page breaks between traverses turned on. Let's go ahead and choose the OK button. And Traverse PC is going to generate a unique report called the Traverse report. So every traverse that I selected, lots 1 through 5, is now included with the same information. So for lot 1, I can see here's my traverse data, here's my error summary and traverse summary out of the closure view, here's the legal description, and then I start over with the next lot that was selected, lot 2. Now, this is a report just like our report view in that I can print this or whatever I want to do. And let's take a look at that. So I'm going to choose Tools, Print, and let's print this report. Again, let's send it to our Traverse PC PDF driver. Traverse PC tells us, okay, I'm ready to write that file. Let's go ahead and write it. And we'll wait for that to show up in our PDF viewer. Now I'm going to switch to Fit Page. And because I told Traverse PC when I generated this report to put each lot on its own page, I see that I can now page down to page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and page 5. So each lot that I selected has its own report on its own page. Now in our county, when we turn in a subdivision plat like this, our county surveyor wants to see a report like this so that each lot stands on its own or is defined on its own in the report. Let's go ahead and close this out. And I see that I can use this report. In other words, I can print it out. But what if I want to retain this information? Well, I'm just going to simply say Tools, Print, and again, let's append to Report View. So now the information that was in the Traverse report, let's close that out, is now available to me in my preliminary report. Finally, let's look at the fifth method, which is adding directly to the report. Let's take a look at an example of this. Up in the Tools menu for the desktop, I'm going to choose Survey Report. Traverse PC sends information about the current survey to the report. Let's take another look at another example of writing directly to the current report. Let's open up this Lot 17 Traverse. And from the Traverse view, let's tell Traverse PC that I want to write a legal description. So let's choose Legal Description Report. Let's choose the options we want. And when I hit the OK button, I can see that Traverse PC has added that legal description to the current report. Now remember, this is a word processor. So if I didn't get exactly what I wanted, I can just delete that, come back to my Traverse view, go back to the legal description writer, and say, you know what? I wanted one course per line, and I wanted the courses numbered. So now when I write it, I get a different looking legal description for that same Lot 17. Let's close out that Traverse view. Now let's scroll all the way back up to the top of the report. Remember, this was our preliminary report. So we can either save it separately, or the report will be saved when we save the survey. And anytime now we can come back and open our original report simply by double-clicking the report name and continue work after the preliminary process, working into the final phase of this project.